have super stickers and super chats. Thank you so much. Thank you, Moss, and thank you, Willow the cat. That is so kind of you. That is so sweet. And we already have questions in the chat, so I'm going to get to those in just a second. But first, welcome everyone to another live. I believe this is our 11th live this year. They've been so much fun. I've really enjoyed them, and I hope you're enjoying them as well. And yeah, so today we're gonna do an Ask Me Anything, but as I was saying on Instagram and Facebook, it's really an Ask Us Anything. We can crowdsource all the questions. I'm just one person with one set of experiences. So I love that everyone in the chat, if you want to, can also provide advice, answer questions, all that stuff. So please feel free to do that. And if you don't know me, I'm Jess Curtis. I run the R Bipolar channel here on YouTube, and I've really enjoyed it. I've been doing it for it's been like 5 or 6 years. So, and just starting this year with the lives, which has been so awesome. So the next one after this will be 2 weeks from today, and I can't wait to see you again then. But yes, today isn't Ask Me Anything, so anything goes, any questions. Just a little bit about me to help you frame questions possibly. So I was diagnosed with bipolar 1 27 years ago, a long time ago. I was 19 when I was diagnosed. I was a sophomore in college at the University of Pittsburgh. And yeah, it kind of like tore down my life for a while. But I eventually got back on track. It did take me about a decade, but a lot of the reason I do advocacy is because I don't want it to take anyone else as long as it took me to like not necessarily to like live without any symptoms, but just to live better and be able to do better and have more awareness about the disorder, and also just be able to take care of ourselves better, find better meds, all that stuff. So yeah, I've had bipolar a long time, most of my life. I also work full time. I'm a managing editor for a microbiology journal. I am married. I've been married 15 years. I have a daughter who's 10. So a lot of different things. I also went through an infertility journey. I have other health problems. I take lithium and Seroquel, and those meds may not be right for you, but they really, really saved me. So yeah, what else? I am having some kind of beginning stages of kidney disease. It is caused by lithium, but I'm doing well on it. I've had to lower the lithium because of it, but I am doing very well. And yeah, I have other health problems, and I'm working hard. For some of them, lifestyle changes are helping, and others, just have to deal with. But let me start getting to questions. I see the question from Moss, and also Moss moderates for us. We have another moderator, Molly, but I'm not sure if she's here yet or if she's coming today. But thank you so much for moderating, Moss. It makes it makes my job a lot easier. I really appreciate it. So Moss said, "What medication or other changes do you make for the summer? I know lithium can increase vulnerability to heat." Yes, and I believe also antipsychotics can increase vulnerability to heat. Not positive, but yes. So I don't actually change medication in the summer, but I'm very aware when I have to be out in the heat to be very careful. So that for me, that means, kind of like trying to stay in the shade as much as I can, take breaks, get out of the sun, go inside, take more breaks than most people would take. And also drinking water. At times I will add electrolytes to like an electrolyte powder to my water, especially in the summer, especially if I'm going to be like working outside, doing yard work, stuff like that, which I really try not to do, to be honest. I try to like farm out the yard work if I can, like hire someone or get my daughter to help, or like whatever I can do, because it can be bad. And I've had times where There was this one time when I lived in Silver Spring, still, outside of DC. I was riding my bike to Rock Creek Park, and on the way back, I just like ran out of steam completely. And I was laying in the grass, but it was right next to the sidewalk, and I couldn't move. And I was just like, I had water, but it just wasn't enough. And people were walking by, and they were of course they were like very concerned of what was going on. They're like, am I okay? Do I need an ambulance? All that stuff. And it was like, no, I just totally overheated, and I hadn't eaten that day. Like, I just hadn't been taking care of myself. This is when I was like in my 20s. And if you're in your 20s, you're probably a lot smarter than I was when I was in my 20s. Let's just say that. Okay. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what other people would say to this question. And also, there is a poll. Let's see how the poll is doing. Okay, so how are you doing today? I just wanted to keep it like pretty general, because I know, not everyone who joins the chat has bipolar, and I want everyone to feel welcome. So, wow, the majority of people are saying they're doing great. But of course, there's some variation: 20% not bad, 20% meh, 20% not good. If you're really not doing good, or if you're meh, I'm glad you're here. I mean, I'm glad everyone is here. I think we can all use some support, some community, some friendship, some love, all this stuff. I'm trying to think where I would fall in the poll today. I think I would say not bad. I can't say great, unfortunately, because I am traveling for work next week, and it's a work trip that's going to turn into a vacation, like a family vacation. That really sounded like Jersey Shore show. But I'm pretty nervous about the initial work portion. I have a lot of really long meetings, like 3 hour, 4 hour meetings. And I don't really do well in long I mean, it's an hour long meeting is hard for me to sit still and like pay attention. So a 4 hour meeting, I'm not excited for that. But I am excited for the vacation after. I'm very excited. So we're just going to DC, but we used to live there. So a lot of the family vacation part is where we used to live in Silver Spring, and going to like all our old restaurants that we loved, and like seeing friends and seeing our old neighborhood and like old apartment building, like, the hospital where we had our daughter, like, so it's going to be like a trip down memory lane. So I'm just trying to focus more on that part of it. Okay, I'll shut up for a second. Let me see if there's more questions. Okay. Yeah, Willow the cat. I knew you were saying you think you're dealing with a depressive episode, spending time sleeping. Maybe that's what you need right now. Maybe your body needs some time to recover. And, depression is really rough. That's like the hardest episode that I go through personally. I mean, everyone feels differently, but yeah, but I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad you're here. Okay. I saw another question. Okay. Isra Kareem, how do you manage bipolar disorder? Wow. I only say that because there's so much that goes into it, or at least at this point in my life. Like when I was earlier, like in my 20s, right after diagnosis, I wasn't doing very much to manage it. Honestly, I was just taking the medication I was prescribed, which was not really helping. And in some ways, I think was making my symptoms worse. And I wasn't doing anything else. I wasn't, taking care of myself. Like, there were no lifestyle changes. There was no nothing. I wasn't even doing the lab work I was supposed to do for the Depakote. So like, I was really shooting myself in the foot constantly. But these days, so I manage bipolar disorder first and foremost by taking medication. Like I said, I take lithium and Seroquel. I take relatively small doses because that's just what works for me. There is nothing wrong with taking higher doses of medication if that's what you need. I also do a lot of lifestyle stuff. So sleep, first and foremost, I get enough sleep each night. It's going to be different for each person. I need like between 8 and 9 hours at least. So I do that. Um, and that includes having good sleep hygiene and like setting up myself up for success. Sorry, I hate that phrase, but like that's what I do. I make for me, I need a really dark room. I wear an eye mask. I make it so I can breathe well. I use like breathe strips and like I do a lot of things like that to make sure I get good sleep. And what else? I mean, I exercise. I lift weights 3 times a week, like a full body workout. And then I walk probably 4 or 5 times a week, either outside or on a walking pad. I try to eat really healthy, but I'm not perfect. I try to keep my sugar intake low, and I don't take any caffeine at this point. I also don't drink alcohol. I used to drink like sparingly, and that was fine usually, but sometimes it would affect my sleep and stuff. So I just stopped. So in August it'll be 4 years of not drinking. Yeah. I also don't use cannabis or other drugs. For me, that's much better. Um, Weed could at times cause me to have mania and psychosis. So I don't do that. But some people say works well for them, relaxes them, all that stuff. What else do I do? My daughter and I have been meditating, trying to like lower stress. So like the basic thing for me at least is like episodes don't really come out of nowhere anymore. It's more when I'm feeling really stressed and overwhelmed that will cause an episode like either, mania or depression. So it's hard because, I'm obviously busy, I work full time, I'm a parent, all that stuff. So I have to find ways to have like a work life balance, and I still want to have friends. I still want to see people socially, but I can't overdo it. I kind of like can't overdo anything. It's like keeping everything in balance and also just not too much of any one thing. And that's what helps me. So if I can keep stress low, and also at work, I should mention like I've been at my job a long time, so I get a lot of vacation time. So I take every other Friday off along with other vacation time. That helps me, you know. I and there's other stuff. I stay away from news. I don't watch the news at all anymore or read the news at all. And I try not to talk about it with people, like which is hard because my husband Brian wants to talk about the news sometimes because there's all these outlandish things happening. So yeah, there's other things, I stay away from anything that would kind of like upset me or stress me out, like even if it's a movie, something that's kind of stressful, or a book, or just kind of anything. I don't think I'm sheltered at the same time, but I do try to just lower stress in any way possible. Okay. Hopefully I didn't miss too much. That was a question that, needed to have a long answer. Okay. Refused. First of all, hello. Thank you for coming. I know I saw you on Steph's live the other day. Oh, and by the way, I know Steph couldn't come today. Steph is her channel is a bipolar person. She did a live yesterday, and she and I can't see our comments in the chat when we're attending each other's lives, which is really frustrating. Another weird YouTube flaw there. But refused, I saw you there yesterday, so that was cool just to see you. Okay, would you worry about side effects taking 249 milligrams of lithium a day? I mean, I wouldn't worry, I guess, unless I was having side effects, like, and what kind of side effects. But if you just mean like just to start taking that dose, no, I wouldn't be concerned. That's a very low dose. I mean, that's lower than I take. And I'm on a low dose. I only take 450. Um, but I mean, everybody responds differently, so I can't say like, oh, you're not going to have any side effects. I mean, I don't know. I mean, definitely talk to your doctor if you have any concerns, or if um, just even before taking it, your doctor should go over all the possible side effects with you. That's that's really important for any medication, right? You missed the poll. The poll should still be there, Moss. It's still there. At this point, we're at overwhelmingly meh, which I get. It should be there at the bottom, but see if it's there. Okay, Poke You asked, how is drinking alcohol while being manic? That's a good question. Trying to think if I've actually ever been drinking while manic. I mean, alcohol is a depressant. I mean, wouldn't recommend like drinking the alcohol to try to stop mania, and I don't know if that would even work. I think in my case it definitely would not work because my mania gets really out of control, and I just don't see like something. I would need something much stronger, like the time where I actually took something when I was manic and didn't go to the hospital. Like my doctor called in a tranquilizer, like something very strong. So I mean, Willow the cat said it drinking did lower mania for them, but let's I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like Refuse said alcohol while manic is like putting gasoline on a fire. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. It's I would not recommend it. Not a doctor, of course, but and that bears saying, like, I'm not a doctor. No one in the chat is giving medical advice. I'm not giving medical advice. This is all just, communicating with fellow people who have experience, just lived experience with bipolar disorder, just throwing that out there. Okay, Moss asked, any favorite books there with you? Are you asking about books about bipolar or just like anything? Because it is Ask Me Anything. So I'm guessing maybe you mean um, like any book. But in the meantime, I'm gonna say hi to Molly. Hi, you are here. I'm so glad to see you. I haven't seen you for a little bit, I think. Oh, and Des the Kid. Hi, Des the Kid. Hi, Desiree. You're running some errands. That's cool. And there's always the replay. And while we have a good number of people in here, please like the live. That will signal to YouTube to like send more people over. And I don't know if you can do the hype thing right now. You might have to do that on the replay. But if you can do it, okay, any book. I'm trying to think what I have here because at this point I only read books on Kindle. And right now I'm reading Lord of the Rings. I'm in the last book. That's been really great. Let me see what my favorites are as I talk away from the camera. I don't know where anything is. Oh, this is really interesting. So there's a lot of Kurt Vonnegut right here that I love. Sound and the Fury, Light in August. I love those books. Um, what else? I have Charles Bukowski. There's like, you might be able to see them. He's one of my favorite authors. What else do we have that's really good? Yeah. I really like Lisa C. If you know that author. Um, there's just a whole bunch of different Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides, I think you say it. My favorite author is Ann Tyler. She does literary fiction. I've read like probably 20 of her books. I don't have any of them though because it's all on my Kindle. So, okay, I saw a question. Let me see. I know I saw one, but now. Oh, and Des the Kid was asking, yeah, and I know you were looking for information on this about antidepressants other than Lexapro. So it looks like people are answering you. So that's good. David Webb said, you ever do meet and greets or vice versa? Do you mean like during lives? You mean in person? That would be awesome if we could do that. I don't know. Is anyone else here in Pittsburgh or nearby? I mean, I like being able to do the live since like you could be anywhere and attend. But oh my God, my husband's on here and he just commented. My husband, I don't know if I should call him out. Brian, if you know Brian, he's been in some of my videos and he was in one live. He's on here at Devin. Do you see? Say hi to Brian. Brian had a hard time with my last mixed episode. I mean, I had a hard time. I think I had a hard time first and foremost, but Brian had a difficult time dealing with me. And he was actually very cool about it and understanding for the most part. I mean, of course, people are going to get frustrated at times, but I thought he handled it really well considering. So give him a little shout out. Okay. I'm going to check that. I'm going to end the poll. We ended majority, not bad, and meh. Next was great for how you're feeling today or how you're doing today, and 6% not good. So mostly, most of us are not in the not good category, but you know, if you are, I totally get it. And one thing that helps me to like stay feeling good, I mean, it can't solve everything, is like honestly doing these lives and like having the channel and all this stuff. Like you guys really do help me a ton. I'm going to end the poll. Okay, so there's the results. Okay, Jibby Jib. I like that name. Does bipolar make you have zero tolerance for any sort of criticism? No. I mean, maybe if I was like in full-blown mania, yes, I would probably have very little tolerance for criticism. If I'm in an episode, especially that kind of an episode like full-blown mania or psychosis, like yeah, I'm first of all going to be more argumentative. That's just me, but I think a lot of people experience that. And I'm going to be much less tolerant to anything that goes against what I'm believing at that time, whether it's delusional or not. I'm going to have a really hard time if you're not just going along with whatever I think and feel and say. And I'm going to be responding probably in a much more argumentative way. And, you know, I'm trying to stay out of that. Like, if I can, I mean, at times, you know, it's a symptom of this disorder to have mania or to have psychosis. I mean, especially like if you have bipolar 1, you know, full blown mania is part of that. But if you have bipolar 2, then usually hypomania, I believe, is like kind of the highest you'll go. But yeah, I don't know about zero tolerance, but it's going to be super low if I'm in. But just having bipolar, like when I'm stable, like right now, no, I don't have zero tolerance for anything. I think people would describe me as pretty tolerant. And I think most of my friends who have bipolar are very, if not more tolerant because they've seen some shit, you know, like they understand. And if they're stable or mostly stable or even, you know, just not like super in an episode like mania, I think they're more tolerant than your average person. Oh, Molly says they're not breaking up at all. I'm using this like internet extender or something. I don't know. The connection is the same as the other connection, like as far as strength, but it's working. So yes. Thank you for letting me know. I'm so happy. We're like doing a clean live so far. It's amazing. This is what I was hoping for. Um, oh my God. I love that my husband is commenting on here. Like, it makes me so happy. I want to cry. Okay, Devin said, I take duloxetine for other reasons, nerve pain, but it has had side effects for me. Had some insomnia, which has slowly subsided, but it has been wonderful for nerve pain. Yes. Dul- Duloxetine, I believe, is also called Cymbalta. And it's in that class of SNRIs, which also includes Effexor. I know, at least for me, some of us have had issues on Effexor. I do believe it helped. It was one of the contributing factors that caused my bipolar to emerge initially. Lovely, but I didn't have family history of bipolar disorder. I was initially diagnosed with depression, MDD, and was trying different antidepressants. Nothing was working, probably, because I had bipolar disorder and didn't know it yet. And they kept trying stuff, finally tried Effexor, and boom. But I had other stuff going on. I mean, I don't know. I may have developed bipolar regardless. I went through a lot of trauma as a kid, as a very young kid. Um, there was, I was using cannabis at the time. Like, there were other things happening. Okay. Molly, Moss says, I'm patient and tolerant. Thank you. Well, so are you, Moss, definitely. And honestly, like, anyone I know who has bipolar is very patient and tolerant. Like I said, I think it's from life experience partially. Um, you know, wanting people to be patient and tolerant with us at times, right? Especially in episodes. Sorry, I saw a question. Okay. Pasley, what are your initial signs that you're going into or at the beginning of an episode? What does having an episode mean? I'm new to learning about this topic for my son. Okay. Major kudos that you're even on here and wanting to learn about it for your son. That is like, it's an amazing, amazing thing. When I say episode, that just means any kind of bipolar episode. So, like in terms of bipolar 1, the different episodes are depression. You could have a mixed episode that is either more depression or more mania, but it's both. And, or hypomania, mania, and then psychosis can be part of those episodes. So that's what I mean. The initial signs that I'm going into one, well, of course, it's different for depression or like hypomania, mania. Hypomania is sort of like the lesser version of mania. So, what to conquer first? So depression for me is more vague. It's harder for me to pinpoint that I'm going into it, but usually what happens is something, for me, depression is always situational. So something really sad is happening either in my life or in someone I'm very close to, their life, and I start feeling like really sad, like more sad than normal, and it's just like on me, very heavy. And then usually start to worry that like I could go into depression, and I kind of have to, okay, like I need to start really focusing on my health and try to, like, I don't know how the best way to say it. It doesn't always work, but I really try to, like, once I have that awareness, I can sometimes like go and do things that I enjoy, and maybe it'll sort of like snap me out of like going down that cliff. It, like I said, it doesn't always work, but for going into hypomania or mania, it can be very hard to catch, but usually I will start to go into the hypomania if I'm feeling really overwhelmed or stressed out. Just not one thing in life, but like multiple things are piling up. and I can't figure out a way to relieve that stress. Or I figured out a way to relieve it, but it's like too late. So I need to like really catch it early. And so once I start feeling this, I'm feeling super overwhelmed. Like I said, I try to remove some of the stress. And then what I also am doing simultaneously, like before it gets worse, for me, I have like a rescue med, which is an antipsychotic. And I already take this antipsychotic every day, but I have to increase it to make sure, because I'm also probably starting to have trouble with sleep. I'm either, you know, sleeping less. Usually I wake up early. I'll start waking up early, like a few hours early. And then if it starts happening like a few days in a row, like that's the danger zone for me. So, like, right when it happens, or when I'm starting to feel this overwhelm, I will increase the antipsychotic. It's just a small amount, but I do it under my doctor's care. He knows that I'm doing it, and I'll let him know. And I reach out to my psychiatrist as well. So those are like my very initial signs. But if I start feeling like, usually people, when they're asked this question, they'll say, like, oh, I'm starting to feel like racing thoughts, and I'm not sleeping, and maybe I'm eating less, or maybe I'm being very social and stuff. But like, if I get to the racing thoughts stage, I'm already in it. Like, I'm in hypomania or mania. So I got to catch it before that. But a big part of it, like I said, is the sleep, the medication to allow the sleep, and contacting my doctor, and sort of like communicating with like my husband, Brian, and like letting people know, like, okay, you need to like help me. Like, if there's extra stress that you can take away, like by taking on my daughter, like maybe like driving her to activities, or like making dinner, or like anything, even a small amount of stress, if that can be relieved, we need to do that right away. Okay. Abd Samad. What is the difference between full blown mania and a mixed episode? So, mania, usually when we just say full blown mania, we're talking about euphoric mania. And a mixed episode is dysphoric. So, because the mixed episode is a mixture of mania and depression, you're going to have like symptoms of both in there, which is really uncomfortable. For me, it's usually like I still have a lot higher energy, racing thoughts, not sleeping, but I'm also extremely irritable and feeling down in a lot of ways. And sometimes, like, SI can go along with that. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but like S ideation or S thoughts. I can probably say it, suicidal, but went to all the trouble. But yeah, so full blown mania is usually like, I mean, there can be an element of irritability and like argumentativeness and like all of that stuff, but a mixed episode is truly mixed, or more so mixed. I don't know if anyone else has tackled that, but feel free to tackle that. I'm going to go to like the very, because I'm missing a lot of stuff. I'm going to go to the very bottom. And then if I miss your question, please put it in the chat again. And again, I'll just remind everyone to please like the live. I would love that. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. It's free. It's fun, right? I mean, I don't know if it's fun, but it is great. And then you can get notifications for lives and videos too. Yeah, the filter rules are dumb. I agree. Okay. Yeah, and this is a great point. Des the Kid said that they're currently in a mixed episode. They feel manic for maybe an hour or so, feel depressed for an hour or more, vice versa. So for some people, the mixed episode, it sort of goes back and forth quickly from mania to depression. And then for other people like me, I don't experience that. I experience like manic symptoms and depression symptoms at the same time. So Neither are very good or fun at all. Oh, thank you so much, Moss, for the gold coin, the jewels. This whole jewels thing, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how you do that, but that's amazing. Need to learn about all this stuff. Thank you so much. Where are we at? Oh gosh, we've already done 35 minutes. Wow. Yeah, Samad, I'm sorry, I'm so bad with that name. Um, Sometimes I had to go to the emergency because of a panic attack in my last mixed episode. I could totally see panic attacks being part of mixed episodes. I've actually never had one during a mixed episode, but I mean, I've had them. But yeah, there is kind of like a panicky feeling for me as well sometimes in those episodes. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I don't know. None of it is great, but I used to have full blown mania and mania that was euphoric. And then in the last nearly like 20 years of the diagnosis, I only have mixed episodes if they are like hypomania. Luckily, I haven't had full on mania for many, many years, probably like 18 years. I just think my meds somehow have capped it for me at hypomania. But, you know, I still do have symptoms at least once a year. Gosh, lately it's been like I'll have depression and hypomania, well, the mixed hypomania, like at least one of each every year, if not more. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm doing more to stay healthy, but it's not always working. It's the stress, I think. And once again, I just want to point out that Moss and Molly are modding and they are just amazing. Thank you so much. Molly said, it seems like it would be like waking up from a bad dream when the media is gone. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way of putting it. I never thought of it like that, but and I know for some people like these episodes are like a week or less. And for some people like me, they're very long. When I have depression, it's usually at least a few weeks. Mixed hypomania, it's usually like a month or more. So, can take a long time to come out of it. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting hot. I'm gonna try to, hopefully that's not too loud. I'm turning up my fan. I get very red because another thing I have is rosacea. So I get very red easily. Okay, Willow the cat said, I'm not good at telling. Wait, it just jumped. I'm not good at telling when I'm depressed, but mania, I can tell. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes I'll be depressed and not realize it at first. So, like, I don't even have the chance to try to catch it in any way. I mean, it's just like I'm in it and maybe it's like not, I don't know, you know, they haven't come up with a word for like, you know, like hypomania. They don't have like the hypo depression, but like when it's sort of like light depression, I sometimes just think I'm sort of okay and I'm just like feeling really blah, but then it goes on for a while and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I can tell I'm not myself." And then it can get, you know, pretty dark and then I know that I'm in it because I know for me it always if I get really deep into depression, it never fails that I won't, you know, I'll start having the suicidal ideation for sure. Okay, another question here. Abd Samad is experience is experiencing schizophrenic like voices the comment on what you do in mania normal. The comment on what you do. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't had that specific um hallucination. I guess you would call it hallucination, not delusion. Um yeah, like in mania you can have psychosis. Well, and in depression, but we were asking about mania. Um yeah, I you could be experiencing psychosis, so delusions, thinking and believing things that aren't actually happening, that most people wouldn't think are happening, or like visual hallucinations, auditory hallucinations, like hearing voices. I've never heard voices personally, but that definitely could happen in mania, um, where you could be seeing things that are not actually real. Like most people would say that's not happening. um, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I've only experienced that kind of psychosis in mania, but people do experience it in depression as well with bipolar. Let's see. Any other questions? And if I've missed something, please put it in the chat again. I know I already said that, but I just want to make sure. I have a question. Do you guys find that you experience episodes like mania, depression, mixed episodes, like certain times of year? Like, I know some people, they have more depression in the winter and more mania in like spring and summer. I don't really follow that kind of a track. I just more have things anytime. Like I can have mania in the winter, I can have depression in the summer. But I do tend to almost always have like hypomania or mania in like September, October. And I think that's just sort of like my brain is on that track because my first manic episode my first big one with psychosis was in September, October. And I also just get anxious that time of year, like it's like going back to school. And obviously, I'm not in school anymore, but for some reason, like my body is conditioned to feel anxiety that time of year. So almost every year it happens. And if I avoid it, it's like a huge triumph. Like I won a trophy for that. But yeah, it's really hard. Yeah, mine really varies too, Willow. Um, But that's not to say I won't have depression. I have had depression in the winter, and maybe that contributed, but there was also like I also have a hard time with the holidays and like the stress of the holidays and like just having to get ready. Like I know I host Christmas in my family, and like I probably shouldn't be hosting anything. Like I should probably be like able to just sit back and not do anything, right? Um, And every year I'm thinking like I'm going to get out of it this year, and then I don't. And that's on me. That's me causing problems for my bipolar and myself. Yeah, Pasley says my son has had manic episodes in the fall season. Yeah, Moss, this is a great point. Talking about self-harm, it's safe to discuss. Please consider that others may be sensitive to details. Yes. Yes. I mean, this is a part of life for a lot of people with bipolar disorder, right? Um, Personally, that's never been something that I turn to. I don't, I don't know why. I don't, but it is, It is absolutely safe to talk about if you want to. Just, being careful, of course, that we're not like triggering someone or whatever it is, but it really is something that we need to talk about, and it's a real issue. Let's see. Yeah, I could see auditory hallucinations being really bad and scary. I've seen people talk about this in different ways. So some people are saying like, well, I know there's another creator who has schizoaffective disorder, and she was saying that the voices she heard were like friends to her. Like it was actually hard when she started taking medication and those voices went away. Like she missed them and she kind of still wanted them there at times. But then there has been she was saying there sometimes were other voices who were not friendly and who were like saying all these awful things. And that was really triggering and upsetting. So, but yeah, I think it runs the gamut. And I think from what I've heard, I could be wrong, but from what I've heard, like more often than not, those voices are not friendly and are saying, not nice things, not friendly things. Yes, talking about the seasonal stuff, as the kid said, from October to February, that's when I'm really depressed. And then March to September is when mania can get triggered. Okay. I think that's very common. I think some of us just kind of have whatever any time of the year. But I don't know. It might be harder if you're like going into a certain season and it's going to be long, right? Like from October to February, and you're like vigilant that you're going to get depressed during that time. That could be really rough. Yeah, Moss is saying I can understand missing the voices and also being glad when they're gone. Yeah. Okay, this is a good question for everyone. Just came in. Molly was asking who here cannot work because of bipolar. And if you want to share, do whatever you want. Back in the past, employers would not hire someone with bipolar. My dad could never do his career again after word got out about his illness. Well, I work, but my employer did not know I had bipolar when I was hired. I mean, definitely not. And they didn't even ask me anything like that. And I did end up telling most people at my work, I think they know at this point, but I've been there like 18 years and um, I think my performance like overall has been good, so that kind of like spoke for itself and hasn't been an issue with them knowing I have bipolar. As the kid said, okay, so it's normal for people with bipolar to experience great symptoms of mania and depression every so often. Yeah, I mean, I think most of us do still have symptoms, even with medication. I mean, it doesn't like completely wipe out all symptoms. For me, it has made, like, I don't have the full blown mania anymore, but I know people who do have that, like breakthrough on medication. Hopefully, what it does is it takes you from whatever your norm was without, being diagnosed and on good meds, and it takes it and makes your symptoms or your episodes less severe and less often. Like I was having, rapid cycling. Like I was having mania or depression nearly every month before I got on meds that actually worked, what I consider worked. But I've never gotten on anything that it's just like all of a sudden, like, oh, I have nothing, no symptoms for like 5 years. Like that's never happened for me. I think that does happen for some people. I think, there's bipolar is a spectrum. I always say this, like some of us have it more severely than others. or the meds just happen to like knock it out better for some of us than others. Some of us can't even take meds. There are no meds that work for them, like they're med resistant, or the side effects are so severe that like just can't take meds. So, you know, a lot of us still have symptoms, and you hope that you can just deal with whatever symptoms are still left, deal with side effects, all that stuff. Yeah, rapid cycling is rough. It was rough. I'm glad, well, at least for now, those days are behind me. I will have to probably find different meds sometime in the somewhat near future. You know, there's more meds these days than there were back then. We'll just see, but you know, I'm just trying to like live life for today and enjoy the fact that I'm mostly stable, right? Most of the time. Let's forget about those 2 months when I had a mixed episode recently. But you know, it never got really severe. Molly says, I think these days it's better, the stigma is better. My dad was totally blacklisted. Yeah, that's just awful. And of course, like, we're all different. So, like, I never had like some kind of major episode happen and like go into the workplace and like have it be, you know, really obvious that I was having these symptoms and have them be really severe at work. That has never happened for me, but that easily could happen, you know, like, and that's really scary to know it could happen. Oh yeah, Des, the kid, the daylight savings time can catch you. Oh yeah, this year, like I was already in the mixed episode when it happened, and then the time change, and then I think that's why my episode lasted so long, because usually it's only about a month, but it was 2 months. That was not good, not good. Okay, before I forget, we're not at the end, but we're getting near the end. I don't know if you guys saw, but I did do a YouTube post today about our lovely moderator Moss. Sorry, my hair looks weird. I started a GoFundMe for her. She's trying to get a car that is disability friendly. I mean, as you know, she has bipolar, but she also has some other disabilities, and I really want to help her. So like any amount would help. I'm gonna put the link to the GoFundMe in the chat, but it's also, if you go and look on my YouTube posts, it's there as well. And it's also on Instagram and Facebook. And find me on Instagram and Facebook. I would love to like follow more closely with people, and like, you know, we can DM on there. We can do all that stuff. So there's the GoFundMe. I'm gonna make sure the link works. Oh, it works. Everything's working today. I love it. This is how it should be, right? This is how it should always be. So yeah, Moss is amazing. She's done other videos with me, so like look those up. I think she's been my most frequent guest on the channel as well. And then she does the moderating, which is such a big help, along with Molly. Thank you both so much. It's just like so much better when I'm trying to delete stuff on my own. That's really hard. I know Moss is like, yeah, I know it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to accept like all the all the love and the support and all this stuff. And yeah, follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I would love that. Are there any final questions? Let's see. I might have missed something, so put it back in the chat. Samad was saying, I know one of my classmates, I told one of my classmates I have bipolar 1. They started telling me I'm crazy every time we have an argument. Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. I've had people like I just kind of had to stop seeing because the way they treated me after finding out. And like most of the time I wasn't even doing anything. Like maybe something had happened, you know, in the past, but like from then on, like there are certain people who cannot, they just cannot see you in a different light, or they cannot understand like that was an episode, that was mania, or whatever it is, you're doing better now. And those people like honestly don't deserve to be friends with you. Like they don't deserve you. That's that's really how I see it. I know so many people with bipolar disorder at this point. Honestly, like 99.9% are wonderful people. Um, Empathetic people would give you like the shirt off their back, kind, loving, supportive. That's just what I've experienced. Now, there are going to be people who are maybe like still really in the throes of their illness. Maybe there are people who are very resistant to wanting to be on medication, stuff like that. That's a different story, right? No, Molly and Mossy are the best. Is there anything else? Wait, I thought I saw something. This thing like really jumps around sometimes. But as the kid was saying, when he got their diagnosis, people in high school and college would treat me as if I was non-existent, keep my circle small, and I don't let my guard down. I totally keep my circle small, although it has gotten much bigger, honestly, through social media and like YouTube. And I do love it, but I have to like conserve energy at times, you know, just because of bipolar and like everything else in my life. Like I definitely focus on the people who I'm like really getting something out of it and really enjoy. And there's a lot of people like that. So, but I do my best because I so enjoy having like a real connection with people. I love doing the lives, and I love when some of those people like do come over to Instagram and Facebook, and like we can have a real friendship. It's awesome. So yeah. Yeah, and Sama was saying majority dealing with mental illness are so kind. My friend that at OCD knew I was SCDL and took me to the emergent. What's SCDL? It sounds like oh, I know what it is. Suicidal. Well, now I just defeated the purpose of making it into an abbreviation. I didn't know that I didn't know that was an abbreviation for it, but good to know. Now I can I don't think we're gonna get like demonetized or anything. I think it's much more with videos that it's like there are things you really can't say, but I think with lives it's a bit better. All right, I love how much you guys are like talking to each other and just like so supportive, and it's been nice like doing these on back-to-back weeks because usually it's just every other week, but since I'm going on vacation next week, I wanted to make sure I like didn't miss this week. So the next one will be in 2 weeks. So what is that? June 13th, Saturday, June 13th. That'll be the next one. We'll have to figure out if we want to do a topic or another just more general one. I like these general ones like at least once in a while because I don't want people to feel like, oh, I can't talk about anything else besides like, you know, a mixed episode or, you know, medication, whatever the topic is. So, oh, Kelsey, I'm so glad you're here. About to finish up, but glad you're here. If you have any questions, the last second we can get it in. Let's see. I think are we just gonna finish up? I think so. But I'll see you again soon. Like I said, find me on Instagram and Facebook under R Bipolar. I think I'm gonna do a video when I'm gone of like a travel video, like just talking about like my work and vacation, because like those work trips and any kind of travel really can mess you up if you have bipolar. And for me, I know it tends to bring on hypomania. So pray for me if you're a praying person, or just think of me and hopefully I won't go hypomanic, and I'll just skate through my trip. We'll see. But thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who came on and participated. And even if you didn't, if you were just lurking, that's cool too. I love that. Just glad people can get together and glad I can facilitate it in some way. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. In the meantime, I'll see you on Instagram and Facebook. Bye.